Phoenix, J.J. Barea was practically a full court away from Isaiah Canaan when the Phoenix guard crumbled to the floor late in the first quarter Wednesday night. And he could tell something terrible had happened. "As soon as I saw it, I looked away, quick," Barea said. So did Wesley Matthews and Dirk Nowitzki, who were right next to Canaan when he came down awkwardly and suffered a gruesome broken ankle. His foot was pointing the wrong direction, and if you haven't seen the video, that's all you need to know. If you have seen the video, you can't unsee it. As ugly as the Mavericks were in a 100-88 loss to the Suns, it was nothing compared to the graphic injury suffered by Canaan, who is in his 5th NBA season and first with the Suns. "Yeah, that was unbelievable," Nowitzki said. "I was right there and they obviously called a foul and I heard somebody scream. I turned around because I thought maybe Wes was upset because maybe they called a flagrant. And once I turned around, I obviously saw his foot and you just get sick to your stomach. For a young guy who is competing for a spot and wants to make it in this league, that's heartbreaking. That took the air out of the building for sure. But you have to keep going and hopefully he'll be okay." Canaan was wheeled off the court on a stretcher and the diagnosis of a fractured left ankle came as a surprise to nobody. It was, quite simply, one of those injuries that you can't forget when you've seen it. "That's hard, man, that's hard," Matthews said. "We're all praying for him. I don't really know him, but just competing against him, he's a stand-up guy who has worked his ass off to be where he is now. What hurt the most was just seeing his face. That's the first thing I saw was his face, and I just feel for him." The scene clearly had an impact on players and coaches on both sides. The arena went quiet and it took several possessions for both teams and fans to recalibrate themselves. "It's not easy for anybody," Coach Rick Carlisle said. "The NBA is a family, as competitive as it is. And when you see one of your brothers go down like that, it's scary. It causes pause. And you just hope he eventually will be okay. It looked like a very tough injury. We certainly wish him the best." As for the game, the Mavericks never led, fell behind by 19 points after the first quarter and never recovered. A cosmetic rally made the final score seem a little more respectable. But they were down by 23 points early in the fourth quarter. Carlisle tinkered with the starting lineup, inserting Dwight Powell for Maxi Kleber. And he's harped on the slow starts that have plagued this team. But nothing has worked. "As of late it's just been hard play and shot making," Matthews said. "Unfortunately they go hand in hand a little bit. You get a little more energy when you make shots and we haven't really been doing that as of late. It gets demoralizing. But we got to stay confident in ourselves and each other that we can make shots. The fight is there, that's not the question. It's frustrating for sure." It was the Mavericks' 5th consecutive loss, matching the losing streak Phoenix had coming into the game. These teams are a combined 34-70, which probably didn't get the ESPN honkos dancing since this was one of their national telecasts. The Mavericks made sure that if people didn't turn off their television sets after Canaan's horrid injury, they surely did after watching how the Mavericks played early on. Said Carlisle, "Even if you're missing, you got to get back and put up the kind of resistance necessary and it's pretty obvious we didn't do that early. And once again we made a hard charge at the end. But that stuff's not good enough. It's just so hard to overcome a 19-point hole."